I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a little intro.
Climbed Mount Kilimanjaro?
Really?
No.
So, hey, everybody. I am here today with Stephen Donovan. He is a financial coach over at evenstevenmoney.com. And he has a finance degree, 10 years of banking experience, and he also paid off over $100,000 worth of debt, which is how he got interested in reaching out and helping others do the same. So welcome, Stephen.
Thank you. I feel very welcome. I'm in Miami, Florida right now, so I see the flamingo. I feel like I'm basically still here, even though like a little bit of I would say flamingo is coming my way.
That's right. Yeah. So what made you decide you wanted to be a financial coach?
A little bit of a backstory. So in 2018, my wife and I decided that we were going to move to Miami, Florida. We were living in Chicago the past right around 8 years. To be closer to her family. And I had the 9-to-5 job working at the bank. And when we came down to Miami, one of the things that I said I didn't want to do is go through that whole process of searching for the job and the interview and the stress of I have to get something. Otherwise, it's the end of the world, or, food's not on the table type of thing. And we decided to start in some way that I would start a business. And kind of the short story of it is it led to financial coaching because I really enjoy, I consider myself a personal finance nerd. You mentioned some of the stuff that, I've been through, which is paying off a lot of debt. And I really thought that I could help others. And that's really what led me into financial coaching.
Yeah. Just that once you become debt-free or you have a big significant push forward, it's like everybody needs to do this. I got to get the word out. This is
right.
For everyone. Yeah. If you had some advice for maybe a financial coach who's really struggling to get their site off the ground, what would be a good piece of advice that you would like to them to hear?
I think the first thing that comes to mind with anything is planning. So to just plan it out, you don't have to get in there and just start typing away aimlessly, because that's probably what it's going to be. Really to plan what you're going to do for, even if it's 2 posts, 4 posts, 6 posts, and then just say, this is what I'm going to work on. And now at least you have a general outline, and then you can from there, make it yours. It's okay to look at someone else's who's, again, let's say it's budgeting. Look at that great budgeting item and, take a little something there and say, oh, I like that. And then make it yours. So you have the outline, and then you can really, really focus on what you want to talk about rather than that big, staring at the ocean.
Yeah, that's something else we do in the course, is create outlines. Yeah, it really does. It makes it go a lot faster when you have an outline, because you're not getting off track. You're staying focused, and every word that you write is going to be used probably, instead of going on this 1,000-word tangent. And then you're like, oh, I can't use any of that. Yeah. What is your biggest struggle with blogging? What's the hardest part?
For me, it's, and I will name a couple actually, because it's sometimes on my mind, but it's kind of how I talked about a little bit before, having that content that's really specific to my clientele. For me, sometimes I like to just write, and I like to talk about different things that are entirely unrelated to not so much my coaching business, but like we were saying, investing. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want to talk about investing. Well, I don't really talk about investing with my clients.
Right.
But I shouldn't say, I don't. I want you to put money in retirement, but that's, it's not anything that I discuss. So having something I struggle sometimes with the focus and the focus for my clients, and then the continued efforts of making sure that, it's on repeat. Because, I think, and I'm sure there's some stats out there that I don't have, but, you have to show up. You can't just write one amazing post, leave it out there, and then you get 100 clients from that one post. You have to experiment, and you have to try, and you have to keep doing it. Yeah. And then, stay focused. So those are some of the things that I struggle with a little bit. you don't want to write every day. Especially it's probably like in my ideal world, I guess I'd probably just be, doing financial coaching solely, right? Just my clients, talking with them and helping them out. But that's not the case. If I want to continue to have clients,
right,
I need to, keep putting myself out there in different avenues and find out which avenues are, are best. So
yeah,
the long-winded answer was that.
Yeah. Focus is extremely difficult for everyone. I just had a big conversation about this yesterday. Like, there's so many things you could help with and so many different people you could help, and you want to help everyone with everything, and you just can't. And it's really, really hard. And I give this advice all the time to bloggers, and you have to niche down. You have to really define who you help and what you help them with. And then I turn around and have those same exact struggles on my own blog. I'm like, but I want to do time management stuff. You're like, that's not what you do, Ashley. Like, yeah, it's really, really difficult. That's something I go into in my course, and I talk about a lot in my Facebook group. I give a lot of examples. I just made a video for them yesterday about, I was doing some keyword research for a client, and I found this keyword where it was like, all these huge sites are ranking. I mean, like Investopedia and Wikipedia and Dave Ramsey and all these giant sites. And then there's one tiny little brand new site ranking for this competitive keyword with all these giants. And when you investigate it, it's because that is their thing. That is all they talk about. But I don't even remember what the keyword was now, but they're not doing all these little offshoots. They're talking about like budgeting in Excel, and that is all they talk about. And so they're ranking with these huge sites that talk about all this different stuff, because Google knows their content is super high quality, and because that is what they are an expert in. So it is important to niche down. And you can talk about all that other stuff in your social media. If you wanted to do a little video or something about investing, or, that's not going to hurt your site. But you really, on the site, you want to stay super, super focused. And it's hard.
I feel like that's my takeaway for today. I feel like I'm going to go back and be like, all right, write this down on like a note card, keep it in front of me for this month or the next couple months.
Yeah.
To remind myself.
Yeah, it is. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs reminders. I have a coach, and I was just talking to my coach, like literally yesterday. I was like, but I want to talk about this other stuff. And she's just like, you can't do it.
It's almost too, it's like, it's not that you can't, you certainly can,
right?
But it's not going to be productive for what you're trying to do.
No, it's not going to help you meet your goals. No. Yeah. I mean, when you're so huge, it doesn't matter anymore. When you're Dave Ramsey and you're a household name and you want to talk about something else, I guess. But
but I mean, here's the thing. I don't think he talks about anything else. Like,
no, he does, right?
There's
Baby
like
steps.
4 topics. Yeah. There's like 4 things he talks about. I mean, when I was paying off debt, I would listen to him on the train to work during that time. And I was talking to a friend, like, why do you listen to that guy? And I was like, I just need someone to tell me the same thing over and over. I was like, that's it. I was like, no other reason. It's like, it's not like it's new. It's just, it's on repeat. So yeah, same stuff over and over.
Yep, I know. And that's another thing bloggers really struggle with in general is like, but I already talked about that. It's like, can you imagine if Dave Ramsey wrote his financial peace book and then never talked about the baby steps ever again because he wrote a book about it? And if people want to know about it, it's there. Like, he would not be Dave Ramsey, right? It's like this constant repetition of here's my message, and like just forever. You had mentioned that you this is the only thing you do. You don't have like another job or anything like that. You spend your time. What's like your main method of getting clients?
I would say, for the most part, it's my story. My story is not everyone has paid off a large amount of debt and has kind of gone through all the steps in the process, right? I struggled through it. I did it, not with this huge grand salary, investment banker salary or anything like that. So my story comes out as a reason that people want to do what I did. And for the most part, I think I'm a pretty trustworthy person as well.
Sure.
So I enjoy what I'm doing. And so when I share my story with, yourself or with other podcasts, blogs, etc., it really comes out that, hey, maybe this guy can help me. And that's really the main part of where people are going to come over and say, hey, let me check out his website, or let me check out his reviews. Who has he helped? What does he do differently than, this person or that person?
Yeah.
Or even what is a financial coach?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think that's a big one, is that people don't even know that the help is available to them. It's a big deal to hire a financial coach. Like I think about hiring, say, a personal trainer, to help me work out. Like, there's not really a huge amount of trust needs to be there before you make that leap, but you're going to open your finances to somebody. Like, a lot of people, especially if they're struggling, they're kind of embarrassed about that. And so they really need a way to build trust with them even before they meet you. I think that's where blogging really comes into play, is that you get to go out into the world and tell your story over and over, and they have a way of getting to know you without having to get on a call with you. Cause that's too big of a jump for the average person.
It can be a little scary sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I can
Strangers
definitely see that. And then to open up like your deepest, darkest secrets, like I can't afford my lifestyle. Like that's, scary.
But once I think you get past even just that initial, it's like when I do work with people, like you don't just click a button and click pay. Like I actually don't allow that. I want to talk to you for, it's free. Like it's a consultation, 15 to 30 minutes where I just find out what's going on. I'm not here to help everyone. And maybe whatever you're going through is beyond anything that I can help with. And maybe we just don't, we're not good together. Like you really don't know that until you have just a nice casual conversation. How's the weather? You get past that. How's life going? And then you do start talking maybe a little bit about the money part of it.
So one of your marketing techniques, I guess, or strategies is to do guest posts and go on podcasts and really to get your name out, and you use the connections that you have that you've made through your blog with other creators. Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think for me, so I'm not sure how familiar everyone would be with FinCon, but FinCon is a place where I think the tagline is where money nerds unite, something on those lines.
Something like that.
I was involved in FinCon. I believe my first one was in 2014. And some of those people that I met in my very first FinCon, I consider friends. And, to this day, and now that has nothing to do with my marketing strategy or anything, but, a lot of times, someone and they know someone, and, worlds collide a lot of times. And you say, hey, you know what, this person does financial coaching, or, hey, you know what, I wanted to feature you on my website. It happens to be really big, or it does well, or maybe there's one person you're going to get and it's going to help you.
Right.
And, that ends up being a part of it. Also too, at least in FinCon for the Facebook group, that's I believe it's a private group, and there's always people asking for, interview questions, or helping them with a lot of freelancers for interview questions, and, hey, I'm writing these big stories, etc. And then just really putting yourself out there. That's like my that's my entire marketing strategy, by the way, is putting yourself out there.
That's what marketing really is. Yeah. That's everyone's marketing strategy.
Right. But yeah, something as simple as, here's a great example. Right this moment, the reason that Ashley and I are talking is because of FinCon. There's something called a donut buddy, where you meet with people, or you meet with one person throughout the group that maybe you haven't talked to or normally wouldn't talk to in a 2,000, 3,000 person auditorium or conference, I should say. And we talked. I ended up writing actually a guest post for wallet hacks that you made so much better than probably what I ever wrote. And from that, I actually ended up getting a client from that who I worked with.
Oh,
so I mean,
good.
yeah, just like an example of something as small as like, hey, you know what? Help connect. And there was no that I did not write that thinking, man, I can't wait for this to produce revenue. It was more like I got a bunch of cool connections and maybe I can help, maybe they can help me, all the above. And it happened.
Yeah.
And so that it works the same way with, again, I was on, like, thinking of podcasts, I was on Bigger Pockets Money with Scott Trench and Mindy Jensen.
Yeah. Huge.
I don't think that anyone, I mean, maybe they're amazing people out there who basically say, I don't want to talk to anyone and I'm going to rule the world with my website or what have you. But for the most part, I would believe that it involves other people and connecting and meeting and helping each other out in whatever way you can.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And I feel like I say this on every video I do, but my entire career is from the community. And it all started with the blog. So do you get clients through your site? Like, have you ever had somebody just find you on Google and become a client because you would have had to have, like, people come, or you're on a podcast, or you do a guest post, or you meet people, at a conference or whatever, and they end up finding you through your site, getting to know you, reading your content, signing up for your email list. I don't know. Do you have a podcast or YouTube channel or anything like that?
So I do not have a podcast, but I do have YouTube, and that kind of I would say comes and goes in terms of how I'm feeling and what I'm
Sure.
working on.
Yes, know that feeling.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, in terms of how clients find me, besides, of course, they heard me on this podcast or website or what have you, is organic search, needing a financial coach or anything that, is ranking. But, a lot of times it's something as simple as, I need help with money or financial coach, and I'll be there. It could be Google Business, while I'm in the Miami area. So yes, I will get clients probably who, when they search that way, I'll come up probably in the sidebar or what have you.
Yeah.
But there's certain topics and there's certain things that I'm going to, they're going to see that and relate to it and really come my way.
Yeah. And these are already primed people. There are already people who are looking for help. It's not like you are, just meeting people at the grocery store or something. You don't have any idea if they need or are looking for financial help. But if someone's typing in, what is a financial coach, or financial coaches near me, or something like that, like, that person is ready to buy.
Yeah, there's very few people that I end up talking to that aren't basically ready to sign up. There's only a few that are maybe searching through, many coaches, trying to narrow it down with what fits.
Yeah.
But everyone is, other than maybe being curious about, pricing and what have you, they're ready. Like, they know they know they need to make a change. And then it's kind of just it's not a push. It's definitely just a gentle nudge, being like, here's what I do. Here's what I'd help. I know you were ready, but are you really ready?
Yeah. Right. Are you ready to actually do it? Yeah.
Yep.
So you're saying, you had mentioned we get about 5,000 page views a month. That's 5,000 people that you're being introduced to, or are being introduced to you. That's 5,000 people that.
Yeah. I am not shaking hands and meeting all of them. That would be, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's 5,000 people who are kind of meeting you, but you don't have to be there to meet them. But it also gives you a chance to help a lot of people who will never hire a coach. There's tons of people who will never hire a coach. And I know that you still have a passion to help those people. It's not like, well, if you can't pay me, you don't get a single piece of information from me. It's like, no, I want to help everybody who wants help, whether they need it for free or paid. There's free content available. And I think that just builds so much trust with your potential clients. When the quality is high and you are being truly helpful, they can't help but trust you. Like, if you can help them over a blog post, imagine what you could do in person, right? So
yeah, it's great. And it's great. And it's funny how that works too, because a lot of people, you're right, they don't want to either they're not ready, they don't want a financial coach or what have you. But I've still had so many people, whether it be through different, social media, blog posts, newsletter, all of it, right? Where they'll say something and you inspired me to do this, or I did this already, or I just had someone recently who they have never been a client of mine, and they told me that they had saved their first emergency fund because of something that I said. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's amazing.
yeah. Right. Yeah. Making sure that the information that they get is good and high quality, because there is a lot out there that I get why people get confused if you don't know, if you are not really able to discern good advice from bad. It's confusing out there. Like there's a lot of crazy schemes out there.
Right. And also too, it allows me to even explore some things that maybe I wouldn't, or I don't have in my normal daily life, since I'm at a different stage of my finances now, like improving my credit score. I get a lot of that as I go on.
Yeah.
Or as they go on with me as a client. And that's not something that I really look at or research as part of where I am in my financial journey. Whereas for a lot of my clients, they're like, I need to pay off this credit card so I can get my credit score a little bit higher. I've been thinking about buying a house, but this is where I'm at today. And I'm like, okay, here's the percentage, how it breaks down when you make these payments. Here's that. So it even forces you to really, in some ways, just connect more with who your ideal clients are. If you're listening, if you're taking some of the stuff that you work on daily with your clients and really add it into your blog posts or into, whatever medium you're using.
Yeah. Because committing to create content on a regular basis, it connects you with the rest of the community, the financial content creator community. And yeah, it exposes you to all kinds of things that you would have never thought of on your own. And, stock investing, I wouldn't know one thing about stock investing if I didn't have to create all this financial content all the time.
Yep.
But now that's a question you can answer for somebody if they have it, even if it's a good, compelling reason not to invest in individual stocks. Well, great advice. Thank you so much for stopping by. And again, you can be reached at evenstevenmoney.com. If you want to reach out to him, he would be more than happy to talk to you. And
ask me anything.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Ashley.